He's made big money in poker as well, and he's going to lay this hand down. Great pressure by Dennis. Unbelievable. The non-professional player from LA, VP of Finance somewhere here in town, is playing impeccable poker tonight.
Well, he's about to get uninvited from the office poker game.
He's a daring player. Quick fold, and now Dennis with the 7-5. It just doesn't matter what he has. He makes it 105. Toby goes out. And now Derek, King 7 of diamonds this time. Last time it was King 6. He'll make this call.
All right, heads up between these two again. And it is Queen 9-3, so not much for either player here. And Dennis started to work in more flop checks recently. 8 of hearts. Derek does not improve on this turn. Dennis picks up a gut shot to the 6, and he's done checking.
He is going to bet 125.
Derek forced to fold the best hand here.
This Dennis Blyden just taken over, and he has been since the start of the final table. You know, it's his first WPT main event ever. His biggest cash before this was $22,000, that's it. And now he's going after $1 million here tonight.
Has the other players thinking about how to move up the leaderboard while he continues to smash all 3 of them. Derek now can't play that 7 deuce. Over to Mark.
Solid ace 4.
All in.
And he goes all in with it.
Yeah, he's got 20 blinds, decides it plays better as an all-in than a raise and decide.
And they're going to go out.
Mark will take that one down when both blinds fold.
He's 31 years old, out of Dublin.
Well, the Dr. Pepper bar looking good tonight.
Oh yeah, they're drinking, having a good time. Only fun can happen at the Dr. Pepper bar.
Best view of the table. Toby now. Gonna let go of a jack deuce. Over to Derek, letting go of 7 deuce. Now Mark.
All in.
Gonna move all in for about 21 blinds with ace 5.
Count, please.
Dennis has king queen in the big blind and a real decision to make.
What's your shove range right there, Slug? Any ace, probably.
So
King, queen.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1,000,000.
2s to 9s.
40,000.
Well, Dennis trying to figure this out. Tough to lay this king queen down, though. You know, Mark is kind of desperate at this point.
Thing is, I kind of want to keep you around because I'm enjoying this 4-handed game.
He's not going to do it. He makes a good laydown.
Shut, please.
Toby wants to see it. Says, I want to know how he plays. So Mark going to take down another one.
I like 4-handed.
I think he should call.
You do?
Yeah, I just think he's doing really well against Mark's range there, and he's getting a pretty good price. When you're the chip leader, it's in your best interest to do anything that is plus chip EV. Like anything that expects to earn chips is in your best interest, unless you can do something weird, like keep someone alive really, really short, so you can put pressure on the medium stacks because they're forced to wait until something is decided about the short stack. But for the most part, when you have the lead, you just want to take as many opportunities to get chips.
Do you want to tell me now, or am I going to have to wait 30 minutes?
I showed you.
What would you show?
I showed an ace.
Ace?
Ace of hearts.
What was the other one?
It wasn't that great, you know.
No, of course. That's what I was trying to figure out.
All right, the pressure's on these guys. $1 million to the winner. Derek with a quick fold. Mark
All in.
gonna shove it.
He's playing the same song here. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Toby's got 9. That's an insta call.
Yeah, Toby has an easy decision here.
Must do that. And Toby's a nice solid favorite to knock out Mark McDonald.
Be nice to hit one of them pointy guys. I mean, it's way more likely an ace comes than a 9 comes.
Mark McDonald's taking home $1.4 million in poker. Well-regarded professional player, and now he's in a bit of trouble. The flop is a queen 9-7, 3 of a kind there for Toby.
And at this stage, Toby is a near lock to win the hand. Mark would need running aces or 7s.
It's a 5 of diamonds. Not going to work out.
A set for Toby Lewis is going to be good to eliminate Mark McDonald in 4th place. Great run here today for his first WPT final table.
The Irishman has to skip his way out of here, taking home $319,000. He's over to talk to Matt Savage.
Mark, you said you were most worried about yourself tonight. How would you rate your performance?
Yeah, I don't know. I could have checked the ace-king hand against Dennis. Would have won a big pot.
I'm all in.
I don't know whether it was a big mistake or a little mistake, whatever. Talk to the guys afterwards and see what they say.
All right, thanks a lot for that.
No worries.
With Mark McDonald's elimination, we are down to 3 players at the LA Poker Classic. They'll resume the battle for first when we return.
About how much do you have, Derek?
2.2.
It's a cute little stack.
It'll be cute if you double me up.
I don't think that'd be cute. It'd be a little sexy, actually.
How many reasons are there to sign up for a Club WPT membership?
Well, Tony, I'll tell you. I'll give you $100,000 to be exact. Play for a share of $100,000 in cash and prizes every month.
Poker tournaments all day, every day on ClubWPT.com.
This episode is sponsored by Dr. Pepper, the official soft drink of the World Poker Tour. Hublot, the official watch of the World Poker Tour. Rockstar Energy, the official energy drink of the World Poker Tour. And Club WPT. Play poker for real cash and prizes today at ClubWPT.com.
As the World Poker Tour edges closer to the end of season 16, it's time to check the status of the WPT Hublot Player of the Year race. While 2-time WPT champion Art Papazian still has the lead, Derek Walters is now sitting in 2nd thanks to his performance here tonight. Eric Afriat has jumped up on the leaderboard after his victory at the Borgata Winter Poker Open. And Phil Hellmuth has made a jump in the standings thanks to his deep run here at the Commerce. Plus, tonight's champion will earn 1,400 points and put themselves in contention as well. So this race is still far from over. We'll keep the standings updated and inform you of any changes. But now, let's get back to the game with Vince and Tony.
All right, thanks, Lynn. There you can see Dennis Blyden still running away with this at $9.5 million.
Oh, yes, down to $3 million for the first place winner. Here's the non-professional, Dennis Blyden, this time with ace-3. He's the chip leader. He's coming in for 105.
Toby's going to call here in the small blind with Jack-10. And I expect Derek will come along from the big blind.
So we got 3-way action. Ace-8, Jack-10, ace-3. Here is the first 3. It is a king 9-4. No one hitting.
Yeah, just a gut shot for Toby. And the ace-high backdoor flush draw for Dennis, but really not much for anybody.
Dennis Blyden, he just doesn't stop. He is going to bet 175. He's getting called there by Toby.
Toby wants to continue here with his gut shot, and also knows that Dennis can be betting an awful lot of stuff on this flop texture.
6 on the turn, helps neither player. They go check, check. Go down to the river. It's a 5. Toby's going to take a stab with Jack high. There he goes. Comes out of the woodwork.
Yeah, it's a very good bluff by Toby. He can have the hearts here. He can have a king. He doesn't have that many missed draws, really just like Jack-10 and Queen-Jack, so Dennis certainly won't call. I'm not really sure what he's thinking about. Time bank chip.
He's going to take time, try to figure this out.
I'm all in.
Now, wow!
Yep.
Ho, ho.
Dennis, my man.
Toby's got to lay it down. Oh, and Dennis is going to show it.
Just an instant show.
Bluff.
Oh, no.
Toby doesn't look thrilled with this table, mate.
Why are you not going to announce that action? I got to keep my rail tight.
Bluff on bluff violence there.
How to put an Englishman on tilt.
I know you like in bluff with that ace-3, Toby, so
It wasn't a bluff,
got to get one in. Hey.
but nice, nearly bluff.
Pretty sure it's still a bluff, buddy. Pretty sure it's still a bluff.
I don't think it is.
Sure. If that's what your definition is, sure.
Define a bluff.
Define you putting chips in the middle and losing. I mean,
No, that's not what I asked.
so technical, Toby.
Things are getting a little ugly here at the Commerce. Club WPT VIP member Bob Herber hit the road and headed to Los Angeles chasing a dream at the LAPC.
I used to be in the aerospace business. I retired about 7 years ago. I just walked away from work and I needed something to do, and I love playing poker. I enjoy playing on Club WPT because there's unlimited play for a flat fee. You get to win some things once in a while, and it gave you a chance to win something big like this. And this has been a great opportunity for me winning this big package. When I won the event, I went ballistic. I couldn't believe I took first place. I actually did laps around my house. Oh my God, I just won. Oh my God, we gotta be in LA in February. Oh my God. Holy I think I might have said a couple of curse words in there of my happiness, but I was just ecstatic. This has been a dream for me. My parents got me into poker. The Commerce Casino was one of their favorite places to play. This is something I've always wanted to do and never knew I would get a chance. Without Club WPT, I wouldn't have this opportunity. I'll be playing much more from the future this point on.
Play on Club WPT for your chance at a free VIP package to a WPT main event. Register to become a Club WPT VIP member at ClubWPT.com for your shot at $100,000 in monthly cash and prizes.
All right, we are back at the final table. 3 players left. Dennis Blyden out in front with $10.6 million. Well, the winner tonight's going to take home $1 million. Second place is $600,000. Third place is $430,000.
Let's have some real fun.
Dennis is going to raise in the dark.
No way. Come on, dude. Please don't do it. A little cock. Stop that.
That's just disrespectful, Dennis.
Is it really? No, I seriously don't know if it is. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just trying to have some fun, man. We've been so serious and quiet. I'm trying to loosen it up a little bit.
Got you.
Love his style.
Oh, man.
So now he's going to look at his hand after raising in the dark. Toby goes out. Will he get action with this?
How do you not raise there, Derek?
I remember this iconic picture from the online poker days of one of my friends just lighting a $100 bill on fire, and that's pretty much what raising blind is three-handed.
Bluffs a 6, 6, 9, 2 spades. Neither player catching. Derek's going to check. Let's see what Dennis does. Of course he's going to bet it.
And this actually isn't a terrible flop for his hand.
Nice call.
And Derek says, well, I figure queen high is better than a random hand.
All right, going to the turn. It's a 10. Okay, maybe Dennis is going to slow down. They both check, and the river card is a 7. That gets Dennis 7s. But Derek, he's betting this 175 and a quick fold by Dennis.
Nice hand, Derek.
Thank you.
I hit my pair on the river, too.
Dennis lets him get away with it. Oh, man.
At this point in my poker career, the title is actually really important to me. It's like I've had a lot of good scores for a lot of money, but no titles yet. The last hand in Montreal was pretty crazy just because it was a complete flip for really all the chips in play.
Derek's going to make the call with the flip.
You didn't want this either.
Yeah.
I'm folding on.
Derek Walters from Arizona out in third place.
There's just nothing you can do at that point. You just gotta hope that you can be on the good side of the flip. This time, I have a good advantage because of my spot at the table. I've been playing with everyone that's left a lot, and I think I have a good hold on their games.
Well, that's a great analogy. You have to be on the good side of the flip. I so agree, Derek.
Yeah, very true. All the study and focus and preparation. Can't do anything if you won't win flips at the final table.
It's on Derek with the button. He's going to fold that, and now Dennis with a 9-8 of clubs. Big hand for Dennis. Of course, he just calls.
Huh.
Toby with the 6-5 says, let's see the flop. The flop is a 10 deuce 5 2 clubs, and that's a 4 flush for Dennis.
I'm a little surprised Dennis didn't raise pre-flop, but he's betting now. Toby with second pair gonna make this call.
This could get very interesting. Let's see if a club appears. No, 10 hits the board for a pair.
That's a nice card for Toby. I expect him to bet following this check. No, surprising check behind.
Will a club get that? No, 4 spades.
Also a good card from Toby.
And Dennis has basically given up. He has checked this.
Wow. Jeez.
Check, check. Oh, man.
I don't know why you wouldn't bet either the turn or river against a guy who can have every single hand. Maybe if you're worried about getting check raised.
Yeah, I think they are, because he's done that a couple times with nothing and then showed the hand.
Yeah. Well, you could always bet and then call the check raise.
Makes it very painful, though, to play. And look at this. Once again, Dennis is going to raise without looking at his hand, playing in the dark.
Glad to see you smile, Derek.
I know we're not supposed to bias the audience and root for anyone, but man, I love anybody who raises blind when they're playing for $1 million. This is so ballin'.
It is. It is pretty exciting. Everything going right for Dennis, raising before the flop. But now Derek has ace-deuce here.
I'm Derek. I'm tempted to just jam over a blind raise. He's not that deep.
Just calls. And the flop is a king 10-8. Just Dennis with an inside straight draw. That's about it.
It's actually a pretty good flop for his hand.
Dennis bets.
And Derek is not going to continue.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Dennis Blyden, the non-professional, running over this table. Can he close it? We'll see.
The poker brat himself, Phil Hellmuth, has been taking notes on the action here and is ready to do some schooling in tonight's Raw Deal.
Hey, WPT fans, have you checked out Zynga Poker?
With a variety of options for play and millions of users competing around the clock, Zynga Poker is the world's leading poker game.
That's right, Tony. Zynga Poker is available on the App Store, Google Play, and Facebook. So what are you waiting for? Check out Zynga Poker today.
We're back at the Commerce Casino in Los Angeles, where Phil Hellmuth is ready to unleash the poker brat in tonight's Raw Deal.
I didn't think he could do it, but I'll give Dennis some credit. He made it to three-handed play against some real sharks. And I like the fact that he's still in full chat mode, both entertaining us.
I know you like him bluff with that ace-3, Toby.
It wasn't a bluff.
Pretty sure it's still a bluff, buddy.
But he's also trying to get Toby and Derek to open up. Why? Dennis wants to get them off of their A game by getting them to talk and have some fun. He wants Derek and Toby outside of their natural, normal, introverted element. But these guys are quiet killers. They're going to use all of their energy to play great poker and not waste any energy engaging in conversation.
Let's have some real fun.
Oh my God. No way. Come on, dude. Please don't do it.
I hate to admit it,
Stop that.
but I actually like Dennis's blind raise on the button. Toby and Derek are handcuffed because they are both trying to outlast each other for a significant pay bump. By handcuffed, I mean this. Neither Toby nor Derek can afford to make a bad bluff, especially knowing that Dennis is likely to call them light with a much weaker hand. Thus, they both have to sit there on their hands, waiting for strong hands and waiting for the other to go broke. Dennis understands that he is the worst player and he wants to throw them off of their games. Dennis wants to try to get lucky. Dennis is going to try to bait them into raising his blind raise, and then hoping he has a good enough hand to move all in. Like, say, king, queen, ace high, or a pocket pair. Personally, I wouldn't blind raise, and I wouldn't suggest it for any of you out there. But for unorthodox, goofy Dennis, it makes sense. Just remember, if you're going to blind raise, see it through. I'm not in love with Dennis's fold on the river. He folds way too fast.
Nice hand, Derek.
I'm guessing if he waits 25 seconds, he would have probably called.
I hit my pair on the river, too.
Class dismissed.
Oh, wow. Interesting stuff. But he's so right. Dennis has these guys rattled. They're off their game. Dennis is controlling everyone at the table. Really well done.
And he's raising in the dark again.
This does not stop. He's pushing these guys around. And like Phil said, he's got them handcuffed. He's got them off their game. Everything going right for the aggressive player, Dennis Blyden, the non-professional.
Into the big blind of Derek Walters, who has a junky Jack-2 offsuit. He'll make the call. And it turns out Dennis has a real hand here. He's got 10-8 suited. He takes a peek before we go to the flop of Queen, Queen 3. Well, not much for either player.
And they go check, check. 10, that hits Dennis. Oh, wow.
A lot of checks going around.
So 3 on the river, now 2 pair on the board.
Does Derek want to try bluffing this? No. So now time for Dennis to make a value bet. And Derek actually has a decision here. You can't really put Dennis on a queen. That would be quite a slow play. He could have a 3. He does have 2 random cards here. Could definitely have the 10. Hard to think he would bet a king for value, but Derek, he lets it go. Gets away without paying any more money. And Dennis continues to stack chips.
The happy-go-lucky guy gets lucky again. This has got to be the greatest time of his entire life. Here we go again. Blinds are up to 30 and 60,000. And now Toby with a decent queen jack.
Raise.
He will raise to 120. Derek going away. Dennis now with a real hand. Pair of 10s. He doesn't know what to do with a real hand. Oh, I guess he does. He's raised. 375 total.
Toby here with a couple Broadway cards in position. He's going to take this flop against his nemesis, Dennis.
Dennis the Menace.
Yeah. And it is ace 9-8. So the 10's still in the lead. Toby with a gut shot to the 10. And overcards to the queen and jack. Although he can't say for sure that those are good. Dennis, of course, could have an ace here.
375 is bet, and Toby getting very much involved, sticking around, hoping to get lucky here. And he doesn't. Ace hits the board to pair it.
It's a nice card for Dennis. Almost certainly makes him feel more confident in his hand.
Well, he's going to bet 475. And the taxman doesn't know what to do. He's got him spinning. I mean, he's got really nothing of a hand. He's getting involved with queen high here to hopefully hit something. That's what the mix-up play of Dennis is doing to these pros. Down to 6 seconds on the action clock. And he is finally gets it and goes out. Dennis just clobbering these guys right now.
No show, Dennis.
Never been showing all day.
It's no bluff.
Have I showed a bluff to you yet? On the river, maybe.
I thought you said you did show me a bluff.
On the river.
Confusing yourself now.
Maybe I am, bud.
It's getting a little prickly.
I love when somebody calls another guy bud and they're clearly not buds.
Oh, so well put. Hey, look at this. Derek has picked up kings at the right time. Well, this could be payback time. What to do? You got 1.9 million, blinds at 30 and 60. Derek has raised this to 120.
Call.
Just a call with a suited connector by Dennis.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Pull him.
Toby pushing. Yeah, that's what you do when you hit ace-king. And of course, Derek takes his time and then
Well, if you insist.
all over the top. And Dennis folds, of course, so they show the hands.
Toby Lewis drawing to 3 outs. He will either be eliminated or he will nearly cripple Derek Walters.
Toby has run pretty bad at this final table. Last time he had Derek Walters all in. Derek 3-outed him. Toby gonna attempt to return the favor.
Derek, a nice size favorite. Oh, yes, the taxman has outflopped Derek.
Toby Lewis has dropped his opponent dead. Derek Walters cannot win this hand. Only 1 king left in the deck would give Toby the higher full house. This hand is over.
What a flop.
Insane.
Deuce of the turn, just doesn't matter.
Well, a total cooler between our two pros there. Unfortunate for Derek Walters.
Wow, the taxman makes him pay. 3 players remain. Very exciting action at the LAPC. And we're coming back for more on the World Poker Tour.
Unlucky D.
This game is sick. Daniel has won it. Amazing.
Commerce is insane. It's massive. There's like been 100 tables going at once. There's like a million different poker games to play. Always good tournaments, so it's like massive.
Anthony Zeno has done it again, man. I love coming to Commerce for the LAPC because the event is so prestigious. You have a good amount of recreational players because they want to answer the prestigious title, but you also have like the biggest names in poker, and you're going to see the best of the best. The tournament's really well run. Lots of tables, good dealers. It's an awesome, awesome tournament. It's fun.
All right, we're back here on the World Poker Tour at the LA Poker Classic, and Dennis is just making it happen. Dennis Blyden lives in LA. His first ever WPT main event.
That's the incredible part. Your first ever WPT main event, and not only do you make the final table, but you've got a big stack and you're steamrolling the pros? Is this real, Vince? Toby has moved all in for Derek's last 6 blinds.
Yeah, Toby's got a pair of 6s there. And Derek with Jack 6.
But that's okay.
Ugh, right on the border. Well, you see him counting down his stack, trying to figure out if he's supposed to call here. Nope. Lets it go.
You gotta give it to him for having some patience. He is nurturing his last dollars very wisely, it appears. Can he possibly come back in some way? Here goes Toby.
Toby, folding 7-5 suited. Now Derek in the small. He's gonna go all in with Queen 7 suited, and Dennis is gonna snap without even looking at his cards. He's like, hey, I got the best hand. Well, Dennis, a small favorite here to eliminate Derek in 3rd place. That was his finishing place up in Montreal earlier this season. Needs to win this hand if he wants to do any better.
Derek Walters needs some luck, and it's a King 8-4 on the flops with Dennis hitting kings. Outflopping Derek. Dennis staying very cool.
Yeah.
And the turn card is a deuce. That gives 2 pairs to Dennis.
Well, a great run from Derek Walters, but another 3rd place finish.
Derek Walters out in 3rd place, going to take home $420,000. He's talking to Matt Savage.
Derek, another 3rd place finish. Is that bittersweet for you?
Definitely bittersweet, but I think I'm a little bit lucky to get 3rd, so I'm kind of happy.
Well, you're 2nd in the Player of the Year race to Art Papazian. Are you going to chase it down?
That's kind of exciting. I have to see how many points it is. It's probably going to be pretty hard since he won 2 events.
All right. Good luck in the race.
Thank you.
Derek Walters comes up short, and we are down to the final 2 players here at Commerce Casino. When we return, Dennis Blyden and Toby Lewis go heads up for the LAPC title.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour and the LAPC. We are about to start the heads-up action. But first, Lynn Gilmartin spoke to both the players.
Dennis, you've been declaring since day one that you were going to win this tournament. What gave you that confidence?
You just gotta believe. And if you believe, you go out, you play your best game, good things can happen.
I love it. It certainly seems to have been helping you.
Keep my foot on the gas pedal. Have a lot of respect for Toby, but we'll see what happens.
All right, good luck. Toby, you came in as the chip leader. You faced some adversity tonight, but now your head's up. What's it going to take to make a comeback?
Just keep being patient like I have been and try to develop counter strategies to his heads up style.
All right, good luck.
Thanks.
Well, thanks, Lynn. These two excellent players now heads up for $1 million. Dennis way out in front, but by no means count Toby Lewis out.
Good luck, Toby.
Good luck.
Okay, they make those insincere good luck statements. Obligatory, of course. Nah, just kidding. But right now, Dennis Blyden out in front with $11.8 million.
He does have Toby at a 4-to-1 disadvantage, but Toby has 50 big blinds, which is a lot of room for a player of his caliber.
Yeah, Toby with about $3 million. Here we go. Blinds at 30 and 60.
Not quite.
Toby says, nope, you're gonna need to put a little more out there.
That's 90, yeah? So
Apologies.
that's, yeah, still not enough though.
Toby's like, yeah, try again.
50. That might be too much now. Oh no, that's good. Okay.
Oh, man. Toby knows the rules of the game.
All right, Dennis has raised to 120. Toby with King 5 will make this call. So there you go. 10-8 versus King 5. The flop is a 4-3 deuce.
Great flop for Toby here. Open-ender, overcards, backdoor flush draw to the king.
Dennis will continue to bet the 150 with a smooth call by Toby. Going to the turn, will Toby hit his straight? Nope. 3 pairs the board. They go check, check. River card, another 4.
Well, Toby does not hit it straight, but he does have the best hand on the river. Dennis has 10 high and can only win by bluffing.
Well, that's not unusual for this guy.
Yeah, he did bluff, but I don't think that's enough to get Toby to fold.
Keep you honest.
10-9.
You see him very quickly make this call.
Little mistake there, I think.
That was an instant call.
He's 28 years old, been playing poker professionally for 10 years. He's made over $4.4 million in poker. The crowd loving it, Toby, maybe on a little bit of a comeback.
Keep me honest, eh?
Yeah, I can remember battling against Toby Lewis online a decade ago. He was one of the regulars in the tournaments and did very well.
The taxman finished 6th here at the LAPC back in the day. Now look at this, Toby's got a real hand here, pair of 10s. And he's going to move it to the min raise of 120. But Dennis with ace-queen.
Raise.
We could see the money go in pre-flop here. Both these guys have such huge hands.
Yeah, Dennis has gone to 300. And now back on Toby. It's a big hand and heads-up action, boy.
I think Toby's gonna 4-bet. It's just a matter of small 4-bet or all-in 4-bet. He's gone small. He's making it 750. Dennis reaching for calling chips.
Wow, he's making this call. 2 quality hands going at it. Very dramatic. Here we go. The flop is a 6-6-3, 2 spades. And Toby now with the 10s. That's 400. That's been called.
And Dennis with way too much of a hand here to fold.
Monster pot going, and a queen hits on the turn.
Oh no. Oh, that's disaster for Toby, not only because he's been sucked out, but by a card that's much harder to put Dennis on than the ace.
Dennis is going to check and try to trap him.
All in.
He has gone all in.
I don't think I'm getting away from this one, buddy, but let me get a count.
Now they're back to being buds.
Yeah, nice. I call.
Oh, yes, you do. And you're going to love it.
Come on, no 10. No 10. No 10.
Well, Dennis, with just 2 outs to dodge going to the river, and he will be your champion. Toby Lewis has run out of luck if he cannot find a 10.
Dennis, 1 card away from $1 million. It's a 6!
That is it. Dennis Blyden, the amateur, takes down one of the most prestigious titles in poker. Dennis Blyden is your champion. Beats out a top pro in Toby Lewis.
Eliminated in second place. He's taking home $600,000, and he's over to talk to Matt Savage.
Toby, a bit short of the title. How do you feel about the result?
Bittersweet, I guess, but, you know, second is great still. Disappointed for now, but it'll be good in a couple of weeks.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right.
Our champion of the LAPC, Dennis Blyden! Dennis! How does it all feel? How did it happen like that?
I came in on day 1 saying that I'm going to win this tournament. I feel if you have the positive energy, you really believe you're going to win, you come out, you play like a maniac, it might work out. And I was expecting a much longer heads-up match, but happy it worked out the way it did.
You get your name inscribed on the Champions Cup on the World Poker Tour. You get $1 million, and you get the beautiful Hublot watch. You can't beat that. Let's hear it one more time for Dennis Blyden, our champion!
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the WPT.
The World Poker Tour is sponsored by Zynga Poker. Go all in. Play the world's largest home game on Zynga Poker today.
I can outplay these guys. Got my shot. Got this. If I get the card, prepare for this day. One time. Breathe.
You never know when your time is going to come. To rise above the rest. To seize the opportunity. To be crowned a champion. Is it time for your story to be told? The World Poker Tour.
The Seminole Hard Rock in South Florida. Poker insiders know this is one of the hottest spots on the tour, and tonight we are gonna see why. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the WPT. I'm Lynn Gilmartin. For years, the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Showdown has put a spotlight on some of the greatest unsung poker talent. Earlier this week, players showed up in droves, ready to show off their card-playing skills.
Try to make a run today, fellas. One time.
Let's do what we always do. Have some fun, and let's shuffle up a deal.
WPT Champions Club member Jonathan Little had a simple explanation on why this is such a fun event.
People in Florida, they have some money. They like to gamble, and they like to put chips in the pot.
With cards in the air, it was easy to find plenty of players hoping to score their first WPT title. Just like past champions Kevin Eister, Eric Afriat, and Griffin Paul. But just getting to that final table is no easy feat.
Because there's so many recreational players, sure, in the long run it does make it more juicier, but it also makes it more unpredictable and higher variance. It's a bunch of landmines you got to get through just to make it to the final table.
Poker pro Joseph Chong is one of those players in the hunt for his first WPT title. And things were looking good for him as the chip leader going into day 3.
Doing great. A lot of chips. Feeling good.
Other players holding their own, but respecting the challenge, included poker pro Jeff Gross, local grinder Pedro Palacio, and two-time WPT final tableist Matt Stout.
Not only do we have every chip in play at my table, but we have the best players left at my table. It's just a bunch of beasts.
And it's really tough to play these guys, but I can somehow get my game on too, so.
I got a feeling I'm gonna find my way to the final six.
Unfortunately, Jeff's feeling was wrong, and he soon busted. Thanks to poker phenom Brian Hastings, who had taken over the chip lead. Then it was Ohio native Joey Cowden's turn to take the wheel, eliminating two more players. One by one, players continued to hit the rail and make their way to the payout desk. And the field was getting closer to that all-important final six. Joseph Chung shoved with ace-10 suited. British online pro Scott Mcgirison called the million-chip bet, holding pocket nines. The board ran out and Scott's nines held up, sending our former chip leader home once again without a title.
It was just straight downhill, sadly.
And Scott kept busting players, scoring 2 out of the next 3 bust-outs. Local Pedro Palacio was the next to fall, and they reached the WPT final table bubble. Confident recreational player Jeff Fielder got in the action when Matt Stout called his pre-flop raise. On a flop of 10-8-7, Matt checked. Jeff bet $200,000. Matt shoved all in, putting Jeff's tournament life on the line. Jeff called and showed pocket aces. Matt tabled his top pair. The board ran out. Improved Jeff's hand to a set, and he doubled up. Then it was poker nomad Tanner Millen's turn, raising pre-flop with ace-king. Scott Mcgirison called with pocket tens. A disastrous flop for Tanner, and before you knew it, all the chips are in the middle. Tanner hit top pair with his king, but Scott made a set. The turn gave Tanner some hope with a gut shot straight draw, but it wasn't meant to be. And Tanner gracefully left for greener pastures.
Good game, man.
Leaving a group of strong, talented players with one thing in common. Everyone's chasing their first WPT title.
With the final 6 players settling into their seats, let's check in with our own esteemed poker experts, WPT commentators Vince Van Patten and Tony Dunst.
Lynn, let me tell you, the Seminole Hard Rock is fast becoming one of the great poker pockets in the world, bar none. All the greats live down here, play down here, they love their poker. And let's go right to the chip leader who lives down here. That is Brian Hastings, one of the big names in the game. He's well out in front. You know what? He used to be a dishwasher, and then he started playing poker, and now he is a superstar.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. And speaking of the bottom, our 2 short stacks are actually pretty familiar to our audience at home. We've got Faraz Jaka in 6th place, who was once upon a time our player of the year and is at his 6th WPT final table, but still searching for an elusive breakthrough win. And right ahead of him, Matt Stout, the man with the most distinctive laugh in all of poker, is at his 3rd WPT final table, but also chasing a breakthrough victory.
Now, we have a bet that goes on week after week. You're a little bit in front, so it's time to pick a group of players. Who do you want? The chip leader and the 2 short stacks, Brian Hastings, alongside Matt Stout and Faraz Jaka? Or do you want the wild cards in the middle, Jeff Fielder, Joey Cowden, and Scott Mcgirison?
Okay, well, that first group all has my phone number, and I don't really want to get any angry texts later, so that's who I'm taking.
All right, kissing your friend's hiney a little bit, that's okay. I'll go the other way. Lynn, this will be fun.
Smart choice, Tony. Now, just a few moments ago, we caught up with chip leader Brian Hastings.
I'm really excited about this. I mean, I've been playing WPTs for many years. I was a one to watch a long time ago, and this is my first WPT final table, so it feels good to finally make a final table, and this is really exciting, and I can't wait.
Tonight's champion will win close to $700,000, along with the handsome Hublot Big Bang Steel watch, and of course a coveted spot on the WPT Champions Cup. Play is getting ready to start, so let's head down to the felt.
All right, thank you, Lynn. Let's have a look at our Zynga poker leaderboard. Brian Hastings well out in front, followed by Joey Cowden and Scott Mcgirison. Jeff, Matt, and Faraz are technically our short stacks, but they definitely have enough chips to make a run.
Andy's at 10,000, Bly's at 40 and 80, Tony. Here we go, the very talented Matt Stout. First to play, but he won't play 7 deuce. Now Brian Hastings, who's a local and a great player, also goes out. Now Faraz Jaka walks into a pair of queens just like that, and he will raise to 175.
Behind him, Joey Cowden has a very playable King 10 on the button. And it looks like he agrees, so he'll make this call.
Scott Mcgirison, who lives in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, to play online poker, goes away. And Jeff Fielder, who's a former construction man, also goes out. So we're going to see the flop. Queens up against King 10, and the flop is a King Jack 8. Cowden outflopping Faraz.
Faraz checking here out of position. Joey checks behind.
Oh, ho, ho. 3 of a kind for Faraz Jaka on the turn.
And notice that gives Joey an open-ended straight draw as well, and adds a second flush draw to the board, so there's an awful lot that Faraz could be betting with. Joey here is going to have to start paying off on the turn.
280 bet by Faraz. He was a WPT Player of the Year. What a talented player. In good shape right now, going to the river. Oh, nothing 5.
Great card for Faraz, bad card for Joey because it's missed all the draws and his top pair is likely stuck calling down, even if he senses that Faraz likely has a pretty good hand.
Faraz going to stick out another bet, hefty 650.
Joey, sensing that this isn't a great situation to be in, but is also sharp enough to know that Faraz is an aggressive player who would likely bet with many of his draws that missed on this river.
Joey's got a lot of chips. He can afford to make the call. He does make the call.
Faraz tables his set to take down the first hand of our final table.
Well, it could have gotten even uglier, perhaps, if Joey would have bet after the flop in front with the kings. Would have made the pot even bigger, so maybe he got off a little cheaper. On to the next hand, Faraz, quick fold. Joey, a local in Fort Lauderdale, goes out. Scott Mcgirison, who's in second chip position at this point, he can't play that mess. And here is the non-professional Jeff Fielder.
$1.75. I feel like it's worth more than that.
With a 9-7 of diamonds, he will make it 175 to go.
Well, I'm the least familiar with Jeff, and I'm curious to see how he adjusts and approaches this table full of professionals.
Brian Hastings, a tough professional, and he is going to speculate and make this call with a 6-5. We will see the flop. Flop is a queen 10-5, 2 diamonds.
Well, both players connect. Jeff in position with the flush draw, Brian out of position with bottom pair. 150 from Jeff.
Brian Hastings now. Oh yeah, he's gonna make that call. Going to the turn.
Ooh, Brian turns 2 pair, a flush draw, and a gut shot to the 8 for Jeff. He's gonna double barrel here for 425,000.
Hastings playing with junk has managed to make this hand a whopper. Wow, he's getting the plaques out.
Yeah, this looks good to me. You got a strong hand, charge your opponent on a board with lots of draws. Brian making it 1.4 million.
That was an early cheer.
I like Jeff, but he's kind of being a tell box here. I doubt he really acts like that when he has a strong hand.
Echo.
He's got a flush draw and a straight draw. He's going to make the call and hope to get lucky.
Yeah, you got to make this call with all those outs, and there it is.
Yeah. Ace of diamonds.
Well, that is a great card for Jeff, but it's also one that Brian knows is really bad for him. It completes King Jack, it completes the flop flush draw. If his opponent had Ace Queen or Ace 10 and called him on the turn, he's hit the river.
Oh yeah, he's going to put it all in. Close to 2.5 more for Hastings. The other construction man takes off the hard hat and puts in the chips.
Brian gonna have to put on his thinking cap. Brian, of course, aware that the Ace of Diamonds is the actual worst card in the deck for him.
The action clock is ticking away. We're down to 4 seconds right now, and Brian wants more time.
Jeff doing a good job staying stoic here.
Brian is the chip leader. He can afford to make this call, but will he do the right thing? Yes, he gets away from the hand without the huge loss. So the construction man, Jeff Fielder, looking good.
It's a good bluff to show, Jeff.
Is it a good time to show?
I have a third of the chips in place, so it is my tournament to lose. I just want to try to close it out.
It didn't look like I was going to make the final 6 for a while. Then I had a big double up. There's no telling that I can't, make it back up there and take this thing down.
I've heard of several conversations where someone goes, oh, he's so crazy aggressive. Other one's like, what? No, he's not. He's so tight. It's exactly what I want. I try to be the chameleon.
I think I play pretty well. I think most people think that I play pretty well too, without meaning to sound arrogant or anything.
I feel pretty good. I've been preparing for this for a long time. I'm ready.
The competition is by far the toughest that I've ever played in one table. I'm excited. I mean, you can't be the best without beating the best, so bring it on.
Well, this incredibly stacked final table is somehow without a WPT title. Brian Hastings out in front with 11 million. Jeff Fielder has moved up after taking that nice hand from our chip leader.
And winner's going to take home close to $700,000 here tonight, so big money at stake. Quick fold by Joey Cowden. Scott Mcgirison, online wizard, goes out as well. Now the construction man, Jeff, non-professional, with a decent king-jack.
Got a couple of Broadway cards here, and he's on the cutoff, so he's going to raise it up here to 175.
Matt Stout going to fold, and now Hastings now with an attractive ace-10.
This is one of those situations where some players choose to call, others choose to 3-bet. Brian here as the chip leader
650.
seems to prefer to 3-bet.
Yeah, well, he's the chip leader, has a lot of chips, and he is going to put the pressure on. Faraz Shaka has to go away.
You just want your plaques back, don't you?
Yeah, good.
It's true.
I like this, Vince. These guys aren't total statues in the middle of the hand, but still not giving anything away. Jeff makes this call in position, so we'll go to a flop.
It's a big king, 10-7. They both get pieces of that, of course. Jeff with kings, Brian with 10s, and Brian's going to check.
So Jeff fires out 500,000, and Brian with second pair ace kicker will make this call.
He keeps fighting for those pots, and now he's in a bad place. Let's see if it turns around. No, 7 pairs the board.
Kind of an interesting card on the turn. Either player could have a 7 here, but I would say Jeff is more likely to. He checks this back.
Deuce and nothing card.
Pretty safe card for Jeff there. Got to be feeling pretty good about his hand.
Cool.
Brian's going to fire out 600,000. That's sort of a blocking bet for value that also prevents him from having to face a tough decision if he checks and his opponent bets bigger. Jeff there makes a quick call.
Yeah, well, when the 7 pairs, you want to protect your king. At that point, you never know, Hastings could have had a 7, so Jeff taking the pot. Brian taking the worst of it so far here tonight.
Yeah, Brian suffering a couple early setbacks against Jeff.
All right, going to Scott Mcgirison, 25 years old.
Scott is one of the top multi-table tournament players online in the modern era, and it is very competitive online these days, which means he is a real tough player. I will not be surprised if he continues to have success in the live arena.
All right, well, Brian Hastings never slowing down, has made a raise, makes it 200 to go. And now Joey Cowden with a solid king 10 of clubs. What will he do with that? Just calls. Hastings, as the chip leader, is just opening up his game.
Ah, that's a pretty interesting flop. So an open-ender with a backdoor flush draw for Joey. Bottom pair with a backdoor flush draw for Brian.
And Brian will bet. Continuation bet of 175.
Everyone's connected here. Joey, open-ender, overcard, backdoor flush draw. Brian, bottom pair, backdoor flush draw. So a bet from Brian and a call from Joey.
4 on the turn.
Check.
Not the card either of these players were hoping for, and Brian checks this back.
7 on the river. So Joey not getting there, and sometimes when you don't get there, you have to do what you have to do, and that is try to steal it. 425 he's betting.
Yep, Joey has missed, but he's in a situation where he can plausibly represent a queen or a jack that would value bet this river. Brian in a tough spot here with his 4th pair, deuce kicker.
And Brian taking a little time, but no, he's got to lay the winner down. Just hats off to Joey. 6 players battling for close to 700,000 here tonight. We're coming back for more on the World Poker Tour. How many daily tournaments are there to win on ClubWPT.com?
Well, there's Hold'em, Omaha, Pot Limit, No Limit, Free Roll, Qualifier, Tournament, Headphone, Putters, and even WPT main event packages. That's a lot.
Poker tournaments all day, every day. ClubWPT.com. Welcome back to the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Showdown in Hollywood, Florida. We've been having a great time all week here.
Yeah, it's the perfect kind of property for poker players. Everything you need here. Huge tournaments, great restaurants. Personally, I'm addicted to Kuro, the sushi restaurant.
Also, there's a fantastic pool. You have wonderful slides. I like to just enjoy the balmy winds out there.
I spent all day there yesterday, went down the slide. It was great.
Come on down to the Seminole Hard Rock. You won't regret it. And right now, we'll go back down to the table.
All right, let's take a look at our leaderboard here. Brian Hastings is still your chip leader, but losing some ground to Joey Cowden, Scott Mcgirison, and Jeff Fielder, who are all tied for 2nd. Faraz and Matt Stout, your short stacks. But don't count them out.
All right, Scott Mcgirison.
Fold.
Solid online guy, quickly gets out of the way. Jeff Fielder, our construction guy. Non-professional player, looks down at ace-8. Seems to like it.
Yeah, I used to raise in this situation almost always, but after some coaching, I found you're supposed to fold a lot of these medium offsuit aces on the hijack. Jeff, you're going to raise it up to 175 over into the blinds of Faraz and Joey Cowden, who finds 9-8 suited in the big.
Yeah, well, what's your coach say to do about that hand?
He says never fold 9-8 suited.
That's right. Especially when you hit top pair with the 9s.
Great flop for Joey here. I've played a lot of tournament poker with Joey lately, and I found him very tough to handle. I think he's got a great grasp on the game, even if he's not a household name yet.
Jeff Fields is betting 150 with nothing but this ace high. And, of course, Joey with his top pair will make this call. And we will go to the turn. It only gets better there for Joey. Hits a 4 flush now as well.
When players call out of the big blind and the turn pairs the middle or bottom card, they often lead out small as what they call a range charge. And that just means that the big blind's range is expected to do better on those kind of cards than the razor's range, and you expect the razor to be checking back often, so you lead small to charge him.
Get some more value out of it. That's exactly what's happened here. 240, and it's going to be called by Jeff. And we are going to the river. He wants to hit an ace here, of course, but no, he hits the other, the 8, which is going to get him into trouble, it appears.
Yeah, he hit the wrong card here. Joey now with 2 pair, feeling very good about his hand.
580.
Oh.
Jeff snap calls him.
Insta call by the construction man.
Nice hand.
Who gets his pocket donut crushed there. And a very stoic Joey going to work here tonight.
Nice hand.
Showing no emotion as he beats up on these guys. And Scott Mcgirison.
160.
Now he's got a pair of 4s, and he will raise to 160.
Jeff is right behind him and is going to make the call with pocket 10s.
Just calls. What action Jeff is getting tonight. All kinds of hands to have to play.
Disciplined fold from Matt Stout there with the suited ace, and Joey Cowden with ace-jack and the big blind is going to come along.
All right, so 10s versus 4s versus ace-jack. And the flop is it. Oh, ace, queen, 8. So aces for Joey Cowden.
Scott knows that his hand is pretty sunk here. Jeff checks back with his 3rd pair.
And the 7 on the turn. Joey is trying to trap away, disguise the strength of his hand. Checks again. He wants a bet by Jeff. And he's going to get it. Look at this. Jeff's going to take a stab at this for 225.
I know Jeff is behind here, but I like his bet. There are some worse pairs and some draws your opponents can call with. You don't really want to call a bet yourself on the river, and you charge them a little bit the times they're drawing.
All right, Scott leaves the table, but now a 7 pairs the board on the river. Joey looking good.
Check.
Checks again.
Check.
Mistake possibly there. Didn't get the absolute value, but it's pretty good. Take it down the pot from the construction man. And boy, he is looking like he wants this title here tonight. And there's his parents. And it's his dad's birthday here tonight.
Well, perhaps some of that birthday luck will rub off on his son Joey at his first WPT final table and poised for a big score.
Now the antes have gone up to 15,000, blinds of 50 and 100. Faraz Jaka with a very seductive 8-9 of spades. He likes it. He'll raise to 210. Scott Mcgirison hesitating, then folding, and now Jeff Fielder with an ace-4 diamonds. I mean, he plays everything he has to with the cards he's been getting tonight. Makes his call. Matt Stout out, and now Brian Hastings even coming along for the ride with just a Jack-8.
Yeah, Brian has just enough hand to come along here and make this a 3-way pot. So we see a flop of 10, 8, 4, all hearts. So Brian, the only one with a heart, actually has the best hand with second pair as well. Faraz with second pair, Jeff with bottom, we all check. And there's 2 pair for Faraz, and an open-ender now for Brian.
And Brian is going to come out and bet 450. Faraz with the 2 pair, no heart, puts in the chips for a call. And Jeff with a little 4 has to go away. So can Brian get lucky here and hit a heart or a straight? No, it's a 3 of clubs. Faraz looking good with his 2 pair. Brian's going to check into him.
It's a nice card for Faraz. All of the hands he potentially had that were drawing have missed on that. Instead, he's got the 2 pair and he's going to bet 900,000.
Yes, for value. Faraz figuring it out, saying, I think I'm in front. I want more money. Give me more.
In Brian's shoes, you could consider all 3 options, folding, calling, and raising. Raising, of course, would be a bluff. But instead, Brian will fold, gets away for the minimum.
That's right, Faraz Jaka, his 5th time at a WPT final table, showing you stuff here tonight, looking good. This episode is sponsored by Dr. Pepper, the official soft drink of the World Poker Tour. Hublot, the official watch of the World Poker Tour. Rockstar Energy, the official energy drink of the World Poker Tour. And Club WPT. Play poker for real cash and prizes today at ClubWPT.com. Welcome back to the seminal Hard Rock Poker Showdown in Hollywood, Florida. 6 players battling for the championship, and Joey Cowden is the chip leader with 12.6 million in chips.
Brian Hastings came into this final table with the chip lead, slipping a little bit here, but still in second. Matt Stout, our short stack, a little under 20 blinds.
Brian Hastings with a pretty solid ace-7 of hearts. He likes to play anything and everything, and this time he'll raise to 240. Faraz and Joey go out. Scott also folding. Around to our non-professional, Jeff Fielder. Tough former construction man. Now playing poker. He goes out, and now Matt Stout in the big blind.
Getting a good price to peel and see the flop. Matt has the kind of stack where you're going to call from the big blind with a lot of your holdings, try and catch a piece and get the money in.
And here is the flop, and more than a piece, 3 of a kind for Matt Stout. As the short stack, he needed that. He's going to check and try to trap.
There's not much here for Brian, but it's also a board texture that you can typically win with 1 bet. So 175 from Brian to Matt.
Finally, something happened for Matt Stout. How to play it, just call it. Okie dokie call. Going to the turn. Turn a queen. So Brian getting none of that. Matt's going to check into him again. Will Brian take another stab? Yes.
Queen is not an unreasonable card for Brian to bet. He's hoping that Matt folds something like a 4 or a 5-6, 7-6 straight draw, although technically Brian's ahead of those hands. Matt here, of course, with trips, is about to say those magic words.
Yeah, Brian bets 400. And Matt on the short stack. Action clock ticking down.
All in.
And there's the all in by Matt. And a quick fold by Brian, who gets the memo. Matt Stout, what a player.
This is my third televised WPT final table.
At least 2 people are going to punch me in the face.
They're some of the most incredible experiences of my poker career. When you make one of these final tables, it doesn't just represent how hard you've worked in that tournament. It represents months and sometimes years of hard work that you've put in trying to make it back to one of these. I do this because I enjoy it. I've always enjoyed poker. It's really something that I feel passionately about. A lot of people do seem to forget that we're playing a game. I remember why I got into this game. I had a blast doing it every single time I played, and that's what got me hooked. That's what gets everyone hooked on this game.
Now, Matt Stout, a longtime professional poker player who recently has started the charity series of poker, does a few of those events a year, and is very proud to be giving back to the community.
Yeah, great radio voice, too. That poker went bad. Let's go to the table. Faraz Jaka now with a 9-4 of hearts. Quickly folds. Joey also out. And now Scott with a pair of queens.
Scott going up to 225 with a pair of queens. Now with Matt, nope. Doyle Brunson, no good. And Brian in the big blind. That smile says, I got something real junky, but I'm going to call anyway.
All right, the ladies versus 5-3. What's going to happen? Ace, 8, deuce on the flop. And when you have the queens, you hate to see that ace appear.
Scott will check back here.
It's a 10 of hearts.
Brian doesn't have much, but he does have a gut shot, and obviously he cannot win at showdown, so he's going to fire out as a bluff for 400,000.
Yeah, he doesn't have much, but he has heart. This guy just likes to battle for every pot.
I like the sizing he chose. He bet quite big in relation to the pot, and that's to get his opponent to fold weak pairs and high cards like king, queen, king, jack.
Well, he's going to fight, but he gets the call they didn't want to see. River card comes up, another queen, not that he needed it.
And that is not the card Brian wanted to see, and
No.
he quickly checks over to Scott.
He's going to give up on this one. It seems like it's Scott wanting to put in some more money for value. Brian quickly folds the hand. Scott Mcgirison, the online guy, will take down a nice one. 6 tough players battling for the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Showdown. Hey, WPT fans, have you checked out Zynga Poker?
With a variety of options for play and millions of users competing around the clock, Zynga Poker is the world's leading poker game.
That's right, Tony. Zynga Poker is available on the App Store, Google Play, and Facebook. So what are you waiting for? Check out Zynga Poker today.
Does the name Moshe Nitzan ring a bell? Well, it should. Moshe was a featured player on Club WPT's King of the Club, and he's back again.
The first advice that I will give anyone on Club WPT is understand that your skill is good enough to win. Since the taping of King of the Club, I mainly concentrating on playing more since I realized someone can win on Club WPT. There were 1,773 players in my qualification tournament, 1,309 players playing this tournament, and I finished 143rd, and I earned $6,000. I'm ecstatic. You're always disappointed not going further, but I'm very, very proud of the way I played. Read about the game, look at the game, watch WPT. You'll be surprised how much information you can gather and then use it at the table. I'm looking forward to play Club WPT and qualified for the third time.
Moshe cashed for over $6,000 and did it for free thanks to ClubWPT.com. So sign up today for your chance to win your way into a live event at ClubWPT.com.
All right, here is a look at our updated leaderboard. Joey Cowden out in front, Brian Hastings now in second, Scott Mcgirison solidly in third, and 3 players between 3 and 4.5 million.
Yeah, Matt Stout still the short stack. Oh, and Matt has picked up a pair of 9s. First position. Gotta like that. He's gonna make it 225 to go. Brian and Faraz go away. Joey goes out. Scott also folding. And wow, Jeff now with ace queen of clubs.
Jeff with a decision between calling and re-raising here. Both options very reasonable.
And he is just going to call it with his ace queen of clubs. So Matt hoping to get lucky here with his 9s, and so does Jeff. But Jeff gets lucky, outflops Matt with his queens as a king queen 8 hits the board.
Good flop for Jeff, but it is a board that's going to be hard to get value from Matt on.
They go check, check, and it only gets better there. For Jeff, he hits aces and queens.
Yeah, and if Matt wasn't scared on the flop, he's terrified now. So Jeff fires out 300,000. Matt will have difficulty continuing.
How you doing?
Did you?
Yeah.
A good draw?
No, I just
See it. I don't believe you. It's a good one.
Brian inducing that showdown by Jeff. Yeah.
Seems like a good spot to be like $20 a nice show. Get a little value.
Yeah, Brian's such a nice guy. He always feels, oh, I'll make you happy. Shows the 2 pair.
I feel like Brian Hastings probably has $20 in his bank account. I don't want to assume anything, but, you know.
And we move on. Faraz Jaka now with a very strong ace-9 of diamonds. Likes that. He will make it 210 to go. Around to Scott, who has picked up a pair of 4s.
Scott here going to make this call in position. He's on the cutoff. Now with Jeff on the button. He's got 5-4 suited, so he's going to come along.
Enjoy your flop, boys.
Well, I will.
And Hastings with queen 8 of clubs also involved. So 4-way action. Nice pot potentially brewing. And here is the flop. It's a 10-10-4. So Scott flopping a full house just like that.
Wow. Faraz here with the lead. Knows this is a difficult board for his opponents to connect with, is going to fire out. I don't mind this bet, but I would prefer it if he had a diamond on the flop to draw to.
And Scott with his 4s full just calling, and now the construction man, Jeff, with a piece of it, and he's going to stick around with the call.
This is tricky here, Vince.
Hastings gets out of the way. Here comes the turn card. It's a 7 of clubs, so now there's 4 clubs out there for the construction man, Jeff, as well.
That is bad news for Jeff. He's got too much hand to get away now, but as we know, he is essentially drawing dead. A 10 would deliver a chop any other card, and he loses.
There's the bet by Scott with his 4s full. He's betting a hefty 1.35.
Scott, hoping that one of his opponents has a 10 and will put a lot of money in. Instead, Jeff with a pair and a flush draw has a decision to make.
Action clock, Tony, is ticking down to 4 seconds, and yep, Jeff wants more time. He's got a 4 flush and a little piece of it with a bad kicker. Oh boy, Faraz realizing the jig is up.
Faraz is just a spectator now. I know he still has cards, but he's not putting more money in this pot.
Well, this is a big moment for the non-pro. The clock is ticking down again. Can he get away from this at this point? Oh, he wants more time again.
Another concern I have about using 2 time bank chips here as Jeff is that you now eliminate the possibility of holding a 10.
Okay.
Because your opponents know you're going to make your decision faster than
That's
this
true.
if you have a 10.
Oh boy, he's making this call. Heavily invested. Jeff Fielder. Now, the thing you don't want to do is hit the flush to keep you around.
The irony is both these guys are rooting for a club, and there it is.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Jeff has hit his flush now. fours filled for Scott.
If we could peek behind Scott's sweater there, you'd see an ear-to-ear smile.
Oh, yeah.
Scott, also using a time bank chip.
Throw him off the tracks.
Yeah.
All in.
And there's the all-in. And the construction man has fallen off the scaffold. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
So Jeff Fielder out in sixth place, the first person to get thrown into the swamp here at the Seminole Hard Rock. He will take home $144,000.
Great run from Jeff Fielder tonight, making his first final table, but he's going to have to come back once more if he wants to get a WPT title.
We'll be right back with the final 5 players as the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Showdown continues.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. With the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Showdown, 5 players remain. And out front, we basically have a tie for first place. Scott Mcgirison with 12.35 and Joey Cowden with 12.3.
Brian Hastings solidly in third, Faraz fourth, Matt Stout still our short stack with about 25 blinds.
And the action going on. Joey folding. Scott Mcgirison, the other co-leader, also going away. And now Matt Stout, uneventful queen 6. He won't do it. And Brian Hastings finally getting a real hand, pair of jacks.
Brian, he got a raise here into Faraz's big blind. Faraz with a pair of 7s. Is going to get involved.
Doesn't re-raise, just calls it. So jacks versus 7s, 2 great talents battling. And the flop's an 8-4 deuce.
Good flop for both players' hands. Better, of course, for Brian, as he now has Faraz in bad shape, but likely to continue putting money in.
Yes, betting 325. And he quickly gets the call and the action from Faraz. See if things change for Faraz here. No, it goes the other way. Another jack for Hastings. Not that he needed it.
And that jack does add some draws to the board, such as queen 10, 9, 10. Brian just going to bet out here for 800,000. This is tough for Faraz. I really don't know what he's going to do here. Very nice. Wow. Nice fold from Faraz. Gets away, losing the minimum there. There's Brian's fiancée Sonia in the audience cheering him on. We see her all the time on the tournament circuit.
Yeah, sometimes a player gets stubborn with a hand like 7s and just doesn't believe a guy like Hastings who could be playing anything.
Sure, there's a lot of draws he could have had there. Many players call that turn bet, but Faraz, sensing something was wrong, gets away.
Yep. Scott with ace-9 has raised, but Matt Stout with ace-king behind him. He's on the short stack, of course.
Rolling.
And he's going to shove it all. Hastings goes out. Faraz as well, and Scott doesn't even think about it. Gives it up to Matt.
Yeah, Scott's heard that song before. He knows ace-9 is not a hand you call the 25 big blind shove with. As we take a look at the WPT Champions Cup. Action with Matt Stout.
Yep, well, and he's starting to get some hands going here. A little rush. He's got a pair of 10s this time. And he'll put in the raise. 225 to go. Brian out and Faraz Jaka. Oh, wow. He even gets the better pair of queens.
Oh, no. This is a disaster for Matt. His opponent's going to re-raise him on the button. Matt and Faraz started this hand with the same amount of chips, so I would be stunned if he does not move in pre-flop over this 3-bet.
Oh, wow. Joey and Scott go away. Back on Matt Stout.
Even worse for Matt, one of his 10s was folded pre-flop, and Faraz has both his suits covered.
He's got about 2.3 roughly left.
All in.
Oh, he's going to push it. And obviously Faraz has to call this, insta-call. They turn him up, and Matt just getting the wrong hand at the wrong time.
Exactly. The right play from Matt, but the wrong time, unfortunately. Faraz here in great shape to knock out Matt Stout.
Matt Stout, 33 years old, living in Vegas. Third WPT final table, never won one The man with the great laugh and voice needs to get lucky, and not there as a queen hits on the flop. Given 3 of a kind for Faraz.
Now, Matt doesn't know it, but this tournament is over. He is drawing dead.
And it's just another queen, that's
Okay,
all.
that's just a little bit of overkill. Matt says, these are yours now, Faraz. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Now, always happy to see Matt Stout do well on the World Poker Tour, but he's going to have to wait a little longer for his first WPT title.
The man with the great laugh is not laughing now. He'll take home $189,000. Another one goes into the Everglades. Let's talk to Matt Stout.
I try to focus on playing my best and letting the cards fall as they may. It's the only real thing you can do to not let luck and coolers really dictate your emotion too much in this game.
5th place finisher Matt Stout heads for the rail. And our final 4 are one step closer to that WPT title. That marks the end of tonight's coverage from the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Showdown. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the WPT.
Is that answer good enough? Can I go?
The World Poker Tour is sponsored by Zynga Poker. Go all in. Play the world's largest home game on Zynga Poker today.
I can outplay these guys. That's my shot. Got this. If I get the card, I prepare for this day. One time. Breathe.
You never know when your time is going to come. To rise above the rest. To seize the opportunity. To be crowned a champion. Is it time for your story to be told? The World Poker Tour.
Welcome to the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Showdown in Hollywood, Florida. I'm Lynn Gilmartin, and this is the WPT. This final table is proving once again why poker in South Florida is so competitive. Joining me with their insight on this competition are Vince Van Patten and Tony Dunst.
Well, Lynn, it's always fun here at the Seminole Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida. I love this place. And you know what? This is the mecca of poker. People love to play poker. The best names in the game are playing at the final table right now.
Yeah, that's right. 4 players remain. A really up and down final table where no one has been able to exert true control, but a lot of great poker going on by all 4 players.
We'll see what happens.
Thanks, guys. Tonight's winner will walk away with a first-place cash prize of almost $700,000. The stylish Hublot Big Bang Steel watch, and of course, their name forever etched onto the WPT Champions Cup. Now, cards are back in the air, so let's get down to the felt.
All right, thank you, Lynn. Here's a look at our Zynga Poker leaderboard. Joey Cowden out at front at $12.5 million, followed by Scott Mcgirison just under 12, Brian Hastings at 8.7, and Faraz Jaka in 4th place, but sitting comfortable on 50 big blinds.
Yeah, Tony, the antes are 20,000, blinds are 6120. Let's go to the felt. The chip leader, Joey Cowden. They call him Joe Poker down here. That's his nickname. And he's got a pair of 7s. Gotta like it. Makes it 280 to go.
Joey, a very tough player from the Fort Lauderdale area, raising up 7s here into the big blind of Faraz Jaka.
Faraz Jaka, 5-time World Poker Tour final tableist. Hasn't taken down a title. What a great player he is making this call with 10-8. And we will see the flop. It is a 6-6-9, so pretty good for the 7s.
Yeah, 2 pair for Joey, a gut shot with an overcard for Faraz, and I will say that this is the kind of texture and hand that a lot of professionals like to check raise with out of the big blind. You do have a draw to a really strong hand, your hand isn't quite good enough to call a bet, and you could plausibly represent a 6 for trips here. Faraz, you see, is cutting out raising chips.
Yeah, he's going to make it 725 into Joe Poker.
And this is tough for Joey because a lot of the hands that Faraz is going to be bluffing with contain a 7. So when you've got 2 of them, it makes it much less likely your opponent's bluffing. Joey there goes away.
Little muscle there by Faraz Jaka. Oh, so tough.
Yep.
Good to mix in some check raises as bluffs, since most of the time you'll be check raising with strong hands.
And this time Faraz wakes up with ace-6. He'll make it 260 total. Joe goes out, and now Scott with a king-jack.
So you have like 7 mil now. Because it's confusing with the plex, because you can't really see.
Now Scott lives down in Mexico to play online poker, and this is his first ever WPT cash.
Yeah, Scott, just 25 years old, one of the best players in the online tournament scene in the modern era.
950.
Scott making it 950,000 to go over the raise of Faraz. Faraz Jaka and Brian Hastings were some of the best players in the previous era of online poker. I'd be surprised if Faraz continued. Yeah, he lets that go. Of the offsuit aces, ace-6 is actually the worst because it cannot make a wheel. So Faraz goes away.
Back down to it. Scott this time with the queen-4, quickly mucks. Brian Hastings with the best hand you can get before the flop, pair of aces, and he will make it 300,000 quickly. Will he get action? Yes, Joe Poker with the pair of 7s.
Yeah, a little surprised Faraz folded king 10 in the small, but Joey, of course, not going anywhere with 7s in the big blind, so heads up to this flop.
The flop is ace 9 7.
Wow. You gotta be kidding me.
Both flop sets. Brian, of course, with top set of aces.
It is going to take some kind of run out to prevent Joey from losing a ton of chips here. He's going to start by just calling this bet from Brian. I do really like Joey's decision to call here.
Absolutely. You want to just trap your man. Little do you know that you're being trapped. A deuce on the turn.
Check.
And Joe, wow, he's going to check it. Brian will make a nice bet of 750.
Well, I'd like to be more articulate here, Vince, but really Joey is just screwed. I mean, there's just no way you prevent losing all of your chips here.
He's just calling, trying to trap. 3 on the river, not going to change anything. Set over set. Joey thinks he's trapping.
And I love the way that Joey has played this hand. 99% of the time, he's getting maximum value out of his opponent with his set via this slow play. Instead, he's about to lose it all.
Yeah, bet at 2.2. Now Joey, of course, Joe Poker, I should say, he has him covered.
Showing a little uncertainty in his face. Oh no, I'm facing a third barrel. I'm not really sure what to do here. I'm gonna have to think this one over. Oh, maybe I'll even use one of my time bank chips on the action clock as it ticks down.
Yes, we know that move. That's a shrewd move made by a lot of pros.
Oh, I'm gonna need way more time on this one. I'm not sure I want to put a bunch of money in with a set on a dry board.
That's why you gotta love poker.
All in.
There you go.
Call.
Insta call, and look at this. Joe's gonna turn him up like he has the winner. That hurts.
And you see him put his hands up like, well, what can I do? Nothing, really. You get a run out like that with set under set, you're going to double up your opponent. So, unfortunately for Joey, he built himself up to the chip leader at this final table, but suffers a huge setback there.
Well, there's Brian Hastings' fiancée Sonia enjoying the moment.
Brian Hastings taking over the chip lead.
I live and breathe poker a lot. I wouldn't say 24 hours a day, but this is work and fun. It's fun work. I really enjoy poker, and whenever I've had a thought of branching out to do something else, I always just come back to it. Titles are exciting to me. I take a lot of pride in the fact that I have 3 World Series of Poker bracelets. Adding a WPT title to that would be really cool. I think there's a lot of prestige to it, and I'm really looking forward to giving it my best shot. Thank you.
Very skillful.
Brian Hastings, an incredibly successful player during the course of his career. Got his start online, has 3 World Series bracelets, now looking to add a WPT title to his collection.
Yeah, he came into the final table as the chip leader, took his hits. The stack went way down, but now it's turning around for him. He's going to raise this time with an ace-deuce to 300,000.
Perhaps a chance for Joey to get some chips back.
They call him Joe Poker. And right now they're calling him Joe Pissed Off.
Yeah. Looks like he has enough chips left to make a 3-bet here without going all in.
Well, he's got a big hand, so he can get some of that anger out by re-raising with the quality hand. Yep, he makes it 785 total.
785.
He can boil a pot of coffee on his head right now. Scott's going out.
Joey going with the small re-raise, hoping that will induce Brian to move in over the top. But he started this hand with about 20 blinds. Brian elects to get away instead.
There's Joe's parents in the audience. Mom, Lisa, Dad, Joe. It's his dad's birthday, by the way. And we move on. Quick fold by Faraz, and now Joey with Queen 9. We'll make it 280 to go. Scott goes out. And the local Brian Hastings with Ace-7.
He's going to make this call from the big blind against our short stack Joey.
All right, Queen 9 versus Ace-7. Aces and 7s for Hastings. He's on fire.
If Joey were deeper, I'd expect Brian to play this cautiously. However, Joey only started this hand with a little over 20 blinds, so I think Brian will either move in over this bet or check raise him big.
Well, Joey's bet 250 on the continuation. Looks like Brian's getting out the raising chips. Yeah, total of 850. Gonna chase Joey away.
Not much Joey can do there. Takes one stab at winning the pot. Brian comes over the top and a quick fold.
And now Brian is gonna put Joe Poker through the torture chamber. You've been there, right, Tony?
It just, you feel so hopeless. You feel like there's nothing you can do. You can't just, play your way out. You can't just get a good hand when you decide on it. You just have to wait.
Yep.
What do you get as a Club WPT VIP member? You can save money on shopping with Saver's Guide. Save money on events with Score Big. Save big, win big at ClubWPT.com.
This is definitely one of the best events on tour. It's a great location, huge room.
It's a really fun place to play poker. It's got a great vibe. People here are generally a lot more friendly and having a lot more fun than you find in a lot of tournaments.
I always come out here to the Hard Rock. They have a lot of great tournaments. The fields are always amazingly fun. People love to gamble, and I'll be here every time.
Well, I love playing here at Seminole Hard Rock, Vince. The tournament director, Tony Burns, does an amazing job. Meanwhile, Brian Hastings at the top of our leaderboard, followed by Scott Mcgirison, Faraz Jaka in third, and Joey Cowden trying to build back up after that brutal setup hand.
Winner's going to take home close to 700,000. We go back down to the felt, a quick fold by Joe Poker. Scott with King 7 of hearts. He's getting out raising chips. Makes it 240 to go. Into Brian, who has a 9-6 of clubs. Oh, wow. The 18 million is going to change things. He's going to make a big raise with that junk hand.
Sure, Brian's hand is a little too weak to call here out of the small blind, but it can connect on a flop pretty well. So he decides to come over the top of Scott, especially while Joey is very short and Scott does not want to risk elimination.
2.6.
Scott, of course, says, yeah, I know what you're thinking, and now it's 2.6 million to go, Brian. He's chose a great hand to do it with. King 7 suited has a blocker to strong hands, but isn't good enough to call.
Yeah, just a great read by Scott. Right back over the top.
Scott, one of the best players in modern online poker, showing that he's got what it takes to win in the live arena as well. He's made 2 final tables at the World Series before, but this is his first WPT final table.
All right, four-handed poker. Blinds of 61-20. Action on Scott. He's in second chip position. He's going to fold, and now Brian with an ace-queen. It's a lot better than the 9-6. And he will raise it to 280.
Joey here has an 8-7 suited in the big blind. Some players like to move all in when they're around 20 blinds with these suited connectors, as they do fare well when they see 5 cards. Calling, of course, also a very strong choice. Joey wants to see a flop.
Oh, and the flop is beautiful for Joey. Jack 8-7, 2-pair.
Great flop for Joey, but also so coordinated that Brian likely to check back here and not put a lot of money in without improving. Oh, that's a way to improve.
Ace for Brian. He probably thinks he's in front now, and Joe's going to check into him.
You see, Joey knows that that is a card that he should be checking a very high percentage of the time, so he does it with his strong hands and his weak hands.
Hastings going to bite 375. Joey would like to get some revenge off of Brian.
All in.
He's going to push it right now, all in.
Joey is too short for any other option here, so he rips it in, tries to get value and protect his 2-pair at the same time, and he's pleased that Brian did not instant call him. He knows that he has the best hand now. Brian with a very tough decision holding top pair and the queen kicker.
The clock is ticking down, and he wants more time.
Brian considering whether he can have the best hand here often enough to make this call, getting about 2-1 on his money.
It's $2 million total.
He knows that he's in the lead some of the time, but that other times he can be drawing dead against a flush, and he does call.
Yeah, he's going to make the call. He's behind, but has a lot of outs.
Spades for 2-pair. Brian has ace-queen with the ace of clubs, queen of spades.
One bad card for Joe. He'll be gone.
Brian looking for an ace, jack, or queen. Otherwise, Joey Cowden will double up and get back in the mix.
Can Joe stick around? Yes, a deuce of diamonds on the river, so Joey will double up.
Okay, so Joey Cowden gaining a little momentum here. Takes some of those chips back from his nemesis, Brian Hastings.
Thank you.
I think confidence is one of the biggest weapons for anybody. Whether you're a great player or not, confidence is really underrated.
Joey Cowden, he's a South Florida regular, so we played together quite a bit. Very tough player. I mean, he plays all the games, plays well. Also has some fun at the table.
I really like beating people, I think, yeah. What puts me on tilt is making mistakes. I'm really hard on myself. A couple years ago, I was grinding harder than most other players around here. And I would like to see my poker career end up like Doyle. Hopefully, I'll be wheeling around like Doyle when he's 80.
Oh, that is the good life. But I think when he's 80, instead of a scooter, he'll have a rocket pack.
We have a quick pause in the action. When we come back, Phil Hellmuth will break down his thoughts on tonight's play. It's the raw deal, Poker Brat style. I hope you're enjoying tonight's coverage of the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Showdown. It's time to find out if Phil Hellmuth is also enjoying it in this edition of The Raw Deal.
Bluffing is an important tool in any poker player's arsenal. And tonight, we are seeing a masterclass on how great players use a bluff to their advantage. I've been playing against Faraz Jaka for over a decade, and he has unlimited potential. One reason why is that he has no fear. His range is wide, and putting him on a specific hand is quite challenging. Holding 10-8 on a 9-6-6 flop, from Faraz's point of view, he has a belly buster straight draw, needs a 7, and needs a 10 or an 8 for a pair. Great time to fire. And Faraz does, and takes the initiative, and raises it up post-flop. This check raise works quite often, with opponents most times folding ace-high, king-high, and small pairs. But why does Joey fold 7-7 when Faraz is known to bluff a lot and has such a wide range? Because Joey knows he's gonna have to not just call the flop bet, but a turn bet as well. And he wasn't ready to invest that much money in this spot. Good job, Faraz. Another great poker player, multiple World Series of Poker bracelet winner, Brian Hastings, finds himself in a hand pre-flop with online pro Scott Mcgirison. Brian Hastings smells weakness and makes a nice 3-bet. I love Hastings, good guy, and I love his well-timed 3-bet. And Hastings was right. His opponent, Scott, was weak. But Scott mans up and says, I know you know I'm weak, but since I think you're also weak, I'm going to re-raise you.
2.6.
4-bet. Great move, Scott. Way to man up.
Oh, boy.
Now, if I could just run good, when I smell a bluff, I'd finally get my first WPT title.
Now, Phil's right there, Vince. Scott picked the perfect time to execute that bluff pre-flop with the King 7 suited.
Well said by Phil. And we move on four-handed poker here at the Seminole Hard Rock. And right now, Faraz Jaka. Let's take a look at his cards. He's got a decent king-queen. He's getting out raising chips, it appears. Yes, he will make it 260 to go with that hand. Joe Poker goes out. Scott as well. And now Brian Hastings with an ace-4.
Well, he's going to make this call from the big blind against Faraz.
So these two old buddies, great poker savants, going at it once again here tonight. And the flop is a queen 6-5. So beautiful flop for Faraz Jaka, hitting the queens.
Great flop for Faraz, but also enough there that Brian may continue putting money in this pot as he has 3 to a straight, 3 to a flush with the backdoor nut flush draw, and an overcard to the ace.
Well, Faraz makes the continuation bet of 300. And that's exactly what Hastings is going to do. He is going to move it up to 950, saying, I don't necessarily believe you have a queen, and I'm going to try to take the pot right now with my silly ace high.
And as we know, Faraz has a very strong hand on this flop and will not be going away.
No, he doesn't, to the absolute discomfort of that man right there. And a king only gets better for Faraz. 2-pair.
That's not a card that Brian is likely to fire. He was looking for a 3, a 7, a heart, maybe an ace. So he does check over to Faraz and stops the bleeding. Faraz not interested in any more checks.
Yeah, just in case this guy has a 4 flush, drawing 2. You got to put some money out there. Make him pay for it if he wants to stick around. And no, Brian does the wise thing and gets away from the hand. Faraz going to take this one down. You know, his nickname years ago was the Toilet.
That's right. That was his online screen name, the Toilet 00.
I'm so glad that went away. But right now at the Dr. Pepper bar, the girls are really enjoying the moment. What a great event. And the blinds are going up to 75, 150, a $25,000 ante. And Joe Poker goes out, and now Scott, our chip leader, takes a rest. Oh, and Brian's got the perfect hand. Pair of kings.
Brian going to start by just calling from the small blind. And Faraz surprisingly checks a queen 8 suited in position. So both players slow playing a little bit as we get an ace queen 9 2 club flop.
Oh boy. So Faraz hits his queens, and Hastings can't be too happy. An ace appears, but he's going to bet, find out where he is. 150. Faraz with the queen's going to call. So neither one comfortable. And a 3 on the turn changes nothing. So Brian Hastings with the kings. Now he's going to slow down, saying, okay, this guy could have an ace on me. Who knows? And because he checked, now Faraz is saying, maybe I'm in front.
Yeah, I think it's quite reasonable for Faraz to believe he has the best hand
That's
here.
right.
But as we know, the kings of Brian, slow playing pre-flop, have now led to this turn where Faraz is doing the betting for him.
And 425, and Brian going to call.
And we see a 4 of spades on the river.
It's like neither player knows where they are. They're both fearful of the other guy, so they both check. And they turn it up. And the slow-played kings are going to win it. Brian Hastings will take the pot to the absolute delight of his friends.
Scott Baumstein here to support Brian, looking thrilled to be in the audience tonight. He is a recent WPT Deep Stacks winner and currently on top of the leaderboard for Player of the Year in the WPT Deep Stacks Tour.
Yeah, impressive poker player. And now Faraz going out, and Joey here with a queen jack will make it 400,000 to go. Scott doesn't compete. Brian with a 5 deuce in the big blind. Of course he'll call. Hope to get lucky. The flop is a jack 10-7, so top pair for Joey.
Joey checks back here with his top pair.
Wow. 10 pairs the board, but it gives 4 hearts out there for Brian Hastings now.
Well, Brian seems to believe that Joey was likely to check back with showdown value on the flop, doesn't try and bluff him, and he rivers a flush while Joey rivers a full house.
Unbelievable.
This could get a little expensive.
Yeah, Brian probably thinks he has a winner now with his little flush. Oh yeah, and Hastings is going to come out with a bet. He thinks he's in front.
Now, he bet full pot there, so he's trying to get Joey to call with ace high or, well, really ace high.
Oh, but back over the top by Joe Poker. Wants to punish Brian, and Brian is completely confused now. He's saying, is this guy really have a jack or a 10? What's going on here?
This is awkward for Brian. He's thinking, well, if you had a jack or a 10, why didn't you bet the flop or turn? Did you really check all the way down here? So the action clock ticking away as Brian contemplates whether to call or not.
He's going to take more time here. It is a big moment. Be a nice laydown if he could do it. But he just might have to pay this off the way it was played. But no, Brian, too good for that. Does the right thing.
So Joey Cowden still trying to build back up after suffering set under set, gaining some momentum.
As we near the tail end of season 16, the race to become the Ublo WPT Player of the Year is close to the finish line. Two-time WPT champion Art Papazian is still on the top of the leaderboard, but players like Derek Walters and Eric Afriat are starting to close in. And will Art hold them off, or will someone be able to snatch the lead? We will keep you apprised of the results, but now let's get back to the final table.
All right, thanks, Lynn. Here's a look at our updated Zynga Poker leaderboard. Scott Mcgirison at 13.6 million, followed by Brian Hastings at 11.6. Faraz Jaka in third with 7.4, followed closely by Joey Cowden.
Faraz Jaka, very talented pro. This time with queen, 7 of clubs. And he will move it to 350 to go. Joe Poker goes out, and now Scott with a decent ace-jack.
Scott has mixed up his approach in these situations between calling and 3-betting, but so long as he's the chip leader, it looks like he's going to lean towards the more aggressive option as he makes it 1.2 million.
Brian Hastings has to go out, and Faraz believes him as well. So the chip leader going to take that one.
Scott, one of the best players in the modern online tournament scene, which has become incredibly competitive over the years. Now showing that his abilities translate to the live felt.
Onward we go, and Brian with king 10 of hearts has raised to 350. A couple folds around to Scott with a 9-6 of hearts. He will play. And we will look at a flop. Wow, the flop is a 9-6 deuce, just absolutely perfect for Scott, hitting top 2 pair. Oh, that's a beautiful thing to have happen.
Well, Brian does have a little piece here with 2 overcards, a backdoor straight, a backdoor flush draw, but Scott's got a hand that is likely to check raise on a texture where he's probably going to be check raising more draws than strong hands, as he's not getting to this flop with a lot of 9 deuce and 6 deuce combinations.
Scott hitting the top 2 pair with a junk hand, and he is going to re-raise right now. Not going to play slow.
And I like that Scott has gone with the check raise here. That will help balance with the times he check raises as a bluff. Here, he's got the top 2 pair, and Brian goes away.
And the rich get richer. And Scott is originally from England, and he says he's played more hands than the final table, all of them put together. How about that?
A bold claim that I don't quite believe, considering Faraz and Brian were both very active in the heyday of online poker.
A lot of hands, though. He's only 25 years old. And now he looks down at an ace-7 of diamonds with the button. And he has raised it to 300. Brian out. And Faraz Jaka with a real hand this time. Pair of jacks. And he's going to re-raise to $1 million.
Well, Scott, with a suited ace in position and plenty of chips, is going to make this call.
This could be a big pot. Pair of jacks. Let's see what happens. Another jack on the flop. Jack 7-3. 3 of a kind for Faraz.
And a dangerous flop for Scott, as he has second pair and the backdoor nut flush draw on a texture where he knows his opponent is going to follow through with a continuation bet at a very high frequency.
That is so true. And Faraz will do that. He bets 850, but with a huge hand, as we know. And Scott with second pair will make this call. We go in deeper. Turn card is a king of diamonds. Wow, now it gives a 4 flush to Scott on top of his 7s. But he's well behind with the 3 of a kind by Faraz.
And Faraz not slowing down. Gonna cut out a bet of...
Oh, it's all going in. The plaques, the chips, it's 1.6.
Scott's getting about 3.5 to 1 to make this call. I expect Scott to see a river. Not only does he have a draw to the nuts, but every now and then he has the best hand against something like ace-queen or ace-10 that's double-barreling.
Tough to get away from this. You want to see if a diamond appears. So he is making this call. We are going to the river. Can the chip leader hit his diamond and crush Faraz? No, it's another king. So just jacks full for Faraz.
All in.
And he's going to go all in.
Faraz has announced all in.
Scott is just saying, I didn't get there. I got my measly 7s, but is it possible this guy could be bluffing all the way like this? Should I put the extra money in?
Yeah, and there's not that many hands that Faraz is going to run this triple barrel bluff with. And some of the combinations he's likely to do it with are stuff like ace-10, ace-queen of diamonds, ace-5 of diamonds. So with Scott holding the ace of diamonds, he actually blocks a lot of the potential bluffs that Faraz could have.
But he's going to take extra time. He might just want to make the hero call here. We've seen that before.
So Scott goes away.
Finally does the right thing, and Faraz Jaka picking up a big one against the chip leader.
Can't say I was rooting for you. Seem nicer than these guys, but I like myself a lot.
This episode is sponsored by Dr. Pepper, the official soft drink of the World Poker Tour. Hublot, the official watch of the World Poker Tour. Rockstar Energy, the official energy drink of the World Poker Tour. And Club WPT. Play poker for real cash and prizes today at ClubWPT.com. You know, we get to travel to many wonderful places. And you know, Nancy Smith traveled to Hollywood, Florida with her husband, Alex, after winning a main tour seat at Club WPT.
My name's Nancy Smith, and I'm from a little town in Tennessee called Selmer. I was fortunate enough to win a seat to play in the WPT tournament. It was nice having my husband here. He sat there and watched me and cheered me on and made me feel good. Is that good enough? I can't lie any more than that. He drives me crazy. Oh, I'm enjoying the VIP experience. My favorite part was meeting some of the players that I did. At first, I was a little bit intimidated by them, but then I beat a couple of them with my hands, and I felt really good. Playing on Club WPT has improved my poker game. I win now more than I used to. It's helped me with my patience, and that's what makes a successful poker player.
Nancy got to experience the VIP life and show off her poker skills on TV. Sign up at ClubWPT.com for your chance to experience the VIP treatment and play in a main tour event.
All right, four-handed poker. Right now, Scott Mcgirison is the chip leader, but they all have chips. Scott's got 11.2. Brian Hastings in second chip position with 11. Faraz with about 10.6. And Joe Poker, Joey Cowden, with 6.2 million. Here we go. Blinds are still 75, 150. Couple folds, and it's around to Scott, who's got a king 3 of spades.
Scott in the small blind here. Facing off against Brian in the big, starts by calling. Brian looks down at 10-8 suited and says, let's pump this up to 500,000.
500 even.
Scott will not be folding a suited king blind versus blind.
No, he has got to call that. He wants to see the flop. And here we go, 10-8 versus king 3, and the flop will be Jack 4 deuce. Helps neither player.
Yeah, you're right. Not much for either player here, so you give the advantage to the player in position, who is the pre-flop aggressor. So the bet of 400,000 from Brian takes that down. Scott folds what's technically the best hand, but not good enough to continue.
You know, we went back a few years ago. Brian Hastings, who's never made a final table on the World Poker Tour, but he was one of the players to watch.
Yes.
He's really well liked on the circuit and considered a great player.
Scott will go away. Brian finds himself with pocket sevens facing a raise from Joey Cowden.
You start with like 5, 6?
Like 6.2, I think.
Okay.
Does Brian want to call or 3-bet here?
Yeah, two great starting hands. And he is going to raise it with the sevens. Makes it 1.3 total. Back on Joe Poker.
All in.
And Joe Poker is going to push it all in with the ace-king.
The call.
And that's got to be called.
Okay, Vince, it is a classic coin flip to see who becomes our chip leader. Joey Cowden was down to 2 million in chips after that set under set cooler versus Brian Hastings, now with an opportunity to make himself the chip leader of this final table.
Family and friends in the audience. Now he has to get lucky to stick around.
Oh, you can see he wants it. It's coming out in his body language. The typically stoic Joey Cowden really wants to see an ace or king, or how about both?
Oh, man. Ace, king, jack on the flop. He gets aces and kings. Hastings, hugely disappointed.
Kind of close.
Oh, man. Well, it's Joey Cowden's dad's birthday, and there's a present on the turn for him. Lock this one up for Cowden.
Yeah, wow, 7 on the river. Irrelevant.
Let's rub some salt in Brian's wound.
Hey WPT fans, are you ready for fun, competitive poker action? We know just the place. With millions of users worldwide, Zynga Poker is the place to play for around-the-clock poker excitement. Zynga Poker is available on the App Store, Google Play, and Facebook. So, what are you waiting for? Check out Zynga Poker today.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. We're at the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Showdown. 4 players battling for the championship. Joe Poker, Joey Cowden out in front with 12.7 million.
Followed by Scott Mcgirison and Faraz Jaka. Brian Hastings sitting on the short stack. He was recently our chip leader, but he lost a very big flip to Joey Cowden.
That is right. Brian Hastings, very famous young professional player with Queen Jack, has raised it to 350. Faraz goes out, and now Joey with a Queen 10.
4.5, yeah.
Started with like 5, a little over 5.
Well, there's a sign of a table full of professionals. Everyone knows exactly how much they're playing all of the time. So Joey makes this call. Go into the flop, dominated by Brian's Queen Jack, and unfortunately for Joey, he hits a hand that is going to cost him some money if he can't find a 10.
Wow, Queen 6-3. They both have queens, but Hastings, of course, with the better kicker, and he'll bet 300. Joe Poker makes the quick call, perhaps thinking he's in front, and we are